I thought my husband was sleepwalking until I followed him. It started with footsteps at 2:43 a.m. At first, I thought I was dreaming. You know how your brain sometimes wraps real sounds into your dreams? That's what it felt like, until I woke up and realized that Noah wasn't in bed. Our house is small, 1 floor, 2 bedrooms, hardwood floors that creak no matter how light your step is. And yet, his footsteps were slow, deliberate, like he was pacing. I called out, "Noah?" No answer. I got out of bed and found him in the kitchen, standing in front of the fridge, the door wide open, light pouring onto his face, which was completely blank. Just blank. His eyes weren't fully closed, but they weren't alert either. They were glassy, half-lidded. He was sleepwalking. It startled me. Noah had never sleepwalked before, not once in the 8 years we'd been married. I gently touched his shoulder. He flinched and turned, violently, like an animal waking from a nightmare. But the second he saw me, he relaxed, or pretended to. "What are you doing?" I asked. I don't know." He looked at the fridge like he'd never seen it before. Guess I was hungry? But his tone was off, flat. I let it go. Maybe it was stress. Big mistake. It kept happening. Every night, same time, 2:43 a.m. Not 2:40, not 2:45. 2:43. Like something was setting an internal alarm he didn't even know he had. At first, I'd wake up just after he left the bed, feeling the cool absence beside me, the faint creak of the bedroom door closing behind him. But soon, I started waking up before he moved. My body learned his rhythm. It was like my subconscious was preparing for it before it happened. My eyes would shoot open, heart already racing, seconds before I heard the mattress shift. And every night, he walked somewhere new. Once to the garage, where he stood motionless with his hand resting on the toolbox for 15 full minutes. Once to the guest room, where he stripped the sheets off the bed and then just sat on the floor in the dark, breathing deeply like he was waiting for something. Another night, I found him in the hallway, just standing there, barefoot in the shadows, facing the wall, not touching it, not moving, just staring. His posture was too straight, too still. It didn't feel like sleepwalking. It felt like listening. He was always silent, always barefoot, always glassy-eyed, like there was a film over his vision, like he wasn't in there. And every morning, without fail, he'd look at me with a foggy sort of confusion. "Are you sure I wasn't just getting water?" he'd say. Maybe I was going to the bathroom and forgot. But it wasn't confusion in his voice. It was casual, dismissive, too easy, like he was planting the suggestion before I could think too hard. The second time he said it, I started keeping a journal. I needed proof. For myself. Because reality was already starting to bend at the edges. I recorded the times, the locations, the weird behaviors, even how long each event lasted. October 12th, stood in front of the fireplace for 17 minutes, unmoving, hands by his side, eyes fixed on the cold ashes like he expected something to rise out of them. October 13th, knelt in the hallway and arranged all our shoes in a perfect spiral, starting from smallest to largest. He doesn't even notice shoes during the day. October 16th, opened every cupboard and drawer in the kitchen, one by one, carefully and deliberately, left them all open, then walked away like it meant nothing. October 18th, I heard him humming, a low, tuneless sound, over and over. It took me 5 minutes to realize it was backward. October 19th, went outside in the pouring rain. No coat, no shoes. Walked into the backyard and stood facing the shed for 12 straight minutes. That last one still haunts me. He didn't even try to shield himself. He just stood there, arms at his sides, head tilted up like he was listening to something whisper from behind the rotting wood. The rain soaked him completely, running down his face, dripping off his fingertips. But he didn't flinch, didn't shiver, didn't blink, like a man under command. That night, I didn't sleep at all. I sat on the couch, blanket around my shoulders, watching the window that faced the shed until the sky turned pale gray. In the morning, I finally confronted him, told him everything, the times, the journal, the shed. Told him he wasn't just sleepwalking. He was repeating something, acting out a script. He didn't deny it, didn't look shocked, didn't seem scared. He just smiled, not kindly. And then he laughed, not nervously. Not because it was absurd. It was the kind of laugh you let out when someone finally catches up to you. "You should have taken a video," he said. "Maybe then you'd understand." Understand what, Noah? He never answered that part. So I did. The next morning, while Noah was at work, I ordered a cheap motion-activated webcam online. Just $50, nothing fancy. I didn't need high resolution, just clarity, just proof. I set it up in the hallway, facing the bedroom door with a wide enough angle to catch the kitchen and the entry to the living room. I tested the motion sensor, tweaked the lighting, and made sure the footage would stream live to my laptop. That night, I left the laptop on the nightstand beside me. Screen dimmed, volume off, just in case. I couldn't sleep, of course. I lay there, blanket pulled up to my chin, pretending to be calm. But my heart wouldn't slow down. I watched the red LED on the webcam blink gently, waiting for the moment it would come to life. At exactly 2:43 a.m., the screen lit up. Motion detected. I held my breath as the feed flickered on. Noah emerged from our bedroom, as expected. He moved slowly, almost mechanically, like someone stepping into a role they'd rehearsed 1,000 times. He turned left, padded silently across the hardwood floor, and walked into the living room. Then he stopped, right in front of the fireplace. At first, nothing seemed strange, until I noticed something move behind him. A shape, a presence. I blinked, leaned closer to the screen. There was a woman standing there, behind Noah. Not moving, not swaying, just standing, still as a portrait. At first, I thought maybe it was a trick of the light, or maybe even some kind of glitch. Maybe the camera caught a reflection from a window, but no. There was no mirror in that part of the house, no reflective surface, no lamp to cast a shadow that tall or that sharp. She was real, but blurry, like she didn't fully exist in the same space. Her body was faintly translucent at the edges, like smoke or static. She wore a long, old-fashioned dress, high-collared and pale, almost colorless. The fabric didn't move. Not with the air, not with Noah. It just hung there, frozen in time. Her face was just out of frame, almost deliberately. But her hands were clearly visible, pale, thin, almost too long. And they were resting on Noah's shoulders. Gently, possessively. Not gripping, not forcing, just claiming, like someone touching their favorite thing. "And Noah?" Noah smiled. It wasn't a confused smile, not a sleepy, dazed one either. It was warm, familiar, like he knew her, like her presence was welcome. And he didn't move. He just stood there, with her behind him, for 11 minutes, not speaking, not turning, not even blinking. The motion sensor didn't trigger again. They didn't move. I stared at that screen until the footage faded to black. Then I closed the laptop with shaking hands. I didn't wake Noah. I just lay there, listening to him breathe beside me, wondering if that woman was still in the house. Or worse, if she never left. I didn't sleep after that. I couldn't. I just lay there, staring at the ceiling, the laptop shut beside me, my thoughts running in 1,000 directions. I kept replaying the footage in my mind. That moment when she stepped into frame. The way her hands rested on Noah. The way he smiled. The fact that he didn't react. Didn't move. As if this wasn't a ghost or an intruder, but someone he had always known. I must have checked on him 5 times before sunrise. Each time he was sound asleep, breathing steadily, arm curled under the pillow like a child. I hated how peaceful he looked. When the morning light finally broke, I made coffee and sat at the kitchen table with the laptop open. Footage paused at the exact frame where her hands first touched his shoulders. When Noah walked in, I didn't say anything. I just slid the laptop toward him. He glanced at the screen, eyes still heavy with sleep. I hit play. The video started, grainy black and white hallway footage, timestamp blinking softly in the corner. Then came Noah. Then the fireplace. Then her. I watched him, not the screen. Watched his face for any sign of recognition. Shock, denial, fear, anything. But there was nothing. No reaction, no flinch, no confusion. He just stared calmly like he'd seen it all before. Then, without looking at me, he closed the laptop. A soft click, followed by silence. When he finally spoke, his voice was low. Flat. You edited that. It wasn't a question, it was accusation. I blinked. What? You're trying to scare me, he said. Or maybe yourself. Noah, are you serious right now? You think I fabricated that? You've been different lately, he muttered, standing up. Writing in that little journal, asking questions, watching me while I sleep. I felt my skin crawl. I've been doing that because you've been getting up every night like a possessed puppet and wandering into rooms you don't remember entering. He didn't respond, didn't argue, just walked to the door, grabbed his keys and said, "Try to get some rest." Then he left. Just like that. No goodbye, no questions, no fear. As if we'd talked about nothing more serious than grocery lists. That day, I couldn't stop shaking. I sat at the kitchen table for hours, laptop open, staring at the paused video again and again. I zoomed in, played with the contrast, took screenshots. It didn't help. If anything, it made things worse. Her shape flickered differently each time. Sometimes she looked taller. Sometimes her hands looked broken. Too many fingers, bent at strange angles. Sometimes her shadow showed up before she did. I needed answers, or history, or something. So I called Noah's sister. We weren't particularly close. She'd always been polite but distant. Still, I figured if anyone had insight into Noah's past, it would be her. She answered on the third ring. Her voice was cheerful at first, casual, until I said, "I need to ask you something about Noah. Has he ever sleepwalked before?" The other end went silent. Not paused. Not busy. Frozen. "Hello?" I said. She finally spoke, quiet, uneasy. "Why do you ask?" I told her a little, not everything. Just that he'd been sleepwalking lately. That it was strange, patterned, that he didn't remember it. There was another long pause. Then she said something I'll never forget. He used to sleepwalk when we were kids, but only at our grandparents' house. I felt my throat tighten. What do you mean, only there? It was this old farmhouse outside of town. We used to go there during summers. Every night, and I mean every night, Noah would get up at exactly 3 a.m. Never earlier, never later. He'd walk outside barefoot and just stand under the big oak tree in the back pasture. I didn't speak. I just listened. He wouldn't talk, wouldn't move. He'd just stand there, staring up, sometimes for 10 minutes, sometimes until sunrise. We were kids. We thought it was weird, but Grandma said some people just have thin boundaries when they sleep, whatever that means. My skin crawled. "What happened?" I asked. She exhaled slowly. It stopped after our grandparents died. Suddenly, no more sleepwalking. He never talked about it. We never brought it up. It was like we all silently agreed to forget it happened. I was quiet for a long time. Then I asked the only thing I could think to say. Was there anyone else? Did anyone see anything while he was out there? Her answer came slow, hesitant. Our cousin Jacob said once, just once, that he saw Noah standing under the tree, talking to someone. A woman. My heart dropped. But there was no one there. So I followed him. That night, I didn't wait for the camera. I waited by the bedroom door. 2:41, 2:42. At 2:43 a.m., he sat up. Slowly, I followed at a distance, careful not to make a sound. He didn't go to the kitchen or the living room this time. He went into the basement. I held my breath and crept down the stairs behind him. The lights were off. The only illumination came from the small window near the ceiling, casting long shadows across the cement floor. He was kneeling in front of the dryer, whispering. I couldn't hear the words at first, just soft murmurs. But then he said something, clear as day. She's not ready yet. I know. I'll keep trying. Then he nodded to the dryer, like it had answered him. There's nothing in the dryer. I checked the next morning, nothing but lint and an old sock. I asked him about it. He stared at me like I was the one losing it. I don't remember going downstairs, he said. But I saw it. I heard it. The way he whispered, it wasn't like someone dreaming. It was like someone reporting to something, obeying. Then I found the notebook. It was under the floorboard in the garage. I only found it because I dropped a wrench and it bounced oddly, like it had hit something hollow. Inside, dozens of pages, all handwritten, all in Noah's handwriting. But they weren't journal entries, they were letters. Each one started the same, to her. Some were pages long, some just a few words. But the tone was always the same, obsessive, reverent, frantic. One said, I see you even when I close my eyes. I dream in your color now. Another, she's suspicious. But don't worry, she never sees the way you look at me. The last page wasn't a letter, it was a drawing. A woman, blurry lines, eyes blacked out, hair like smoke, and beneath it, just one word, soon. I tried to leave. I packed a bag, planned to go to my sister's, told myself I'd come back for answers later, when I had space to think. But as I was reaching for the front door, I heard Noah's voice behind me. You're not ready yet. I turned. He wasn't sleepwalking. He was wide awake, standing in the hallway, watching me. I backed away, heart pounding. Noah, what's going on? Who is she? He tilted his head. You know her. You've always known her. You just forgot. Then he smiled. That same smile from the footage. The one he only wore at 2:43 a.m. I ran. I'm writing this from a motel 2 towns over. I haven't gone back home. I haven't slept. I keep watching the camera footage remotely. The motion sensor is still active. Every night, Noah walks. Not just at 2:43 now. He starts earlier, stays up longer. He goes into every room, opens every drawer. Last night, he stood in front of the bedroom mirror for 2 full hours, whispering. I couldn't hear it, but I saw his lips move. When I paused the video, I swear for just one frame, there were 2 reflections, him and her. I don't know what he's let in. Or maybe it was always there. Maybe I just married someone who never really came alone. But whatever it is, whoever she is, she's closer now. And I'm afraid that if I go back, she'll be waiting for me. And this time, I'll be the one sleepwalking. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And stay tuned for more unforgettable Reddit tales right here on Whims and Whispers.